Guys, I absolutely love this dress and the way it fits. I don't know. I think it's perfect with the gold accessories and the gold necklace. I did have on my zero accessories at first. It was really cute. But
February 9th, 2024, Seagoville, Texas. While most people are scrolling through birthday posts and planning celebrations, 27-year-old Lyric Backus should be living her best life. She's got over 66,000 Instagram followers, a thriving clothing boutique, and it's her 28th birthday. But by morning, she's found dead in her garage alongside her 7-year-old son, Deuce. No signs of violence, no break-in. Just two bodies and a mystery that would leave investigators scratching their heads. What happened in those final hours, and why did a day of celebration become the deadliest birthday in Seagoville's recent memory?
Dallas County detectives are investigating the death of a mother and her little boy. Seagoville police found Lyric Backus and her 7-year-old son Deuce dead in the garage last week. Home surveillance cameras captured the chaos. Deuce was a first grader in Seagoville. Backus was a social media influencer. She had a clothing boutique and tens of thousands of followers. Family believes the pair died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Police are waiting on autopsies before confirming.
Before we get into this story that'll make you check your garage twice, drop your city in the comments, I want to see where my true crime family is watching from. Because what killed Lyric and Deuce could be lurking in any home, anywhere. This is the story of how success, motherhood, and one fatal mistake created a tragedy that nobody saw coming. Welcome to True Crime Malice, where we break down the cases that'll keep you up at night. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss what we've got coming up. Lyric Lashandria Backus wasn't just another influencer trying to make it big. Born February 9th, 1996, this Dallas native had that rare combination: the hustle to build an empire and the heart to stay real with her followers. Her Instagram handle told the whole story. This wasn't some random fashion page throwing up affiliate links and hoping for the best. Lyric owned and operated her own clothing boutique, serving up unique and stylish pieces that resonated with her followers. We're talking about a woman who turned her fashion sense into cold hard cash, leveraging social media to build a legitimate business empire that actually mattered. She knew exactly who she was, what she was building, and how to make it work. This wasn't some wannabe influencer begging for brand deals. This was a businesswoman who understood that social media was just the tool. The real money was in the product. According to What's the Tea, Lyric's boutique wasn't just successful, it was inspiring. She had built something that connected with people, something that made her followers feel seen and understood. Her business acumen was evident in every post, every story, every interaction with her community. She had figured out the secret that most influencers never crack: authenticity sells better than anything else. But here's what made Lyric different from every other entrepreneur grinding on social media. She never forgot where she came from or who she was serving. Friends described her as a beacon of positivity whose vibrant spirit and infectious joy touched the lives of many. This wasn't fake influencer energy designed to sell products. This was the real deal, a woman who genuinely cared about the people following her journey. And then there was Deuce, 7 years old, first grade at Seagoville North Elementary, and absolutely the center of Lyric's world. Her Instagram was filled with their adventures, their bond, their life together as a team. This wasn't performative motherhood for the camera. This was a woman who had found her purpose in raising her son and wasn't afraid to show the world what that looked like. Neighbors said Deuce had a playful spirit and bright smile, the kind of kid who made friends instantly and left an impression on everyone he met. Dion Loggins, their neighbor, watched Deuce play with his own 3-year-old son just a week before everything changed.
Yeah, I was concerned about the little boy, like, is he at school? Like, 'cause I know him and my daughter go to school right here.
He was just a regular kid, Loggins would later tell reporters. Always smiling, always playing. The kind of kid you want your own children to be around. The bond between Lyric and Deuce was something special. She didn't just post about being a mom, she lived it. Every adventure, every milestone, every ordinary Tuesday was documented not because it would get likes, but because she was genuinely proud of the life they were building together. Lyric's close friend, Stanicia Richardson Pinky, summed it up perfectly when she called Lyric a mother, friend, and boss. 3 roles, 1 woman, 0 compromise. She had figured out how to be successful without sacrificing the relationships that mattered most. By February 2024, Lyric had built something special. Hundreds of thousands of followers across platforms, a successful business that was growing every month, and a community that genuinely loved her and her son. The hashtag Deuce and Lyric5Eva would later trend, showing just how deep their impact ran beyond just business metrics and follower counts. But success doesn't make you bulletproof. Money can't protect you from every danger, and sometimes the most dangerous threats are the ones you never see coming, the ones that slip into your life disguised as ordinary moments. February 9th, 2024, Lyric's 28th birthday. What should have been Instagram stories full of birthday love, celebration posts with Deuce, maybe some behind-the-scenes content from whatever party she had planned, none of it ever came. For someone who lived online, who connected with her community daily, who treated her followers like family, radio silence was deafening. Her most loyal followers started noticing first. Where were the birthday posts? Where was Deuce's sweet birthday message to his mom? Where was the content that always came like clockwork? When family members couldn't reach Lyric and Deuce for several days, they knew something was seriously wrong. This wasn't like her. Lyric was always connected, always posting, always responding to her community. She had built her business on being accessible, on being real, on being present. Radio silence from someone who lived online? That's not just a red flag, that's an emergency. They rushed to the Seagoville home, probably expecting to find them sick with the flu, maybe dealing with some family emergency that had kept them offline. What they found instead would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Lyric and Deuce, unresponsive in the garage. No signs of struggle, no evidence of violence, no indication that anyone else had been there. Just a mother and son who had simply stopped breathing. The scene was peaceful in the most terrifying way possible, like they had just fallen asleep and never woken up. First responders arrived fast, but it was already too late. Whatever had happened in that garage had been swift, silent, and deadly. EMTs worked frantically, but there was nothing they could do. The time for saving lives had passed hours, maybe days ago. Neighbor Dion Loggins had surveillance cameras that caught the chaos as it unfolded. It was just mayhem, he told WFAA, his voice still shaking from what he had witnessed. Everybody out here, crying and screaming. The cops out here had taped it off. His cameras captured something no neighbor ever wants to see. The moment a quiet residential street becomes a crime scene. Think about that scene for a second. A quiet residential street in Seagoville, the kind of place where kids ride bikes and neighbors know each other's names, suddenly swarming with emergency vehicles, police tape, and neighbors trying to process what they were seeing. This wasn't supposed to happen here. Not to them. Not to the woman who always waved when she saw you. Not to the little boy who played with everyone's kids. The timing made everything infinitely worse. Lyric's birthday, what should have been her 28th celebration, what should have been a day of joy and gratitude and looking forward to the future, became the day her community lost 2 of their own. The cruel irony wasn't lost on anyone. The day she came into the world became the day she left it. Seagoville police immediately launched a full investigation. No obvious cause of death, no signs of foul play, no evidence of break-in or robbery or violence of any kind, just 2 bodies and a mystery that would take forensic experts and medical examiners to solve. The kind of case that keeps detectives up at night because nothing makes sense until suddenly everything does. But the family had a theory almost immediately. They suspected carbon monoxide poisoning. Something about finding them in the garage, something about the way they looked, something about the complete lack of any other explanation, it all pointed to one terrifying possibility that nobody wanted to voice out loud. The invisible killer had struck again. And if they were right, this wasn't murder in any traditional sense. This wasn't someone with evil intentions targeting a successful young mother. This was something far more frightening. A completely preventable accident that could happen to literally anyone watching this video right now. Hold up, before we reveal what investigators think really happened that night, I need to ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. Have you ever fallen asleep in your car? Maybe after a long day at work, waiting for someone to come out of a store, sitting in your driveway after a difficult day, and just needing a moment before you go inside and deal with real life? Drop a yes in the comments if you've ever done this, because what I'm about to tell you might save your life or someone you love. And if you've never done it, drop a no, but keep watching, because this information could save someone in your family. The theory that emerged from this investigation is going to make you think twice about something millions of people do without a second thought. Something so common that most of us have done it without even considering the risks. Here's what investigators believe happened. Lyric came home after her birthday celebration. Maybe she was tired from the day. Maybe she needed a moment to decompress before going inside and dealing with bedtime routines and getting ready for the next day. Maybe Deuce had fallen asleep in the car, and she didn't want to wake him up just yet. So she got in her car in the garage with Deuce, turned on the engine, probably for heat or air conditioning just to be comfortable while they sat there, and fell asleep. That's it. That simple, that innocent, that deadly. Because what Lyric didn't know, what most people don't know, is that her garage was about to become a gas chamber. And the weapon? Something so common, so everyday, that it's produced by nearly every household appliance that burns fuel. The silent killer was already at work, and neither Lyric nor Deuce had any idea they were in mortal danger. Carbon monoxide. Two words that should terrify you more than any serial killer, any home invader, any criminal we've ever covered on this channel. Because unlike human predators, carbon monoxide doesn't choose its victims. It doesn't care if you're rich or poor, young or old, careful or careless. It just kills, quietly and efficiently, without warning or mercy. Here's why this invisible enemy is so absolutely terrifying. It's completely odorless, colorless, and tasteless. You can't see it creeping into your space. You can't smell it building up around you. You can't taste it in the air you're breathing. It just quietly fills up whatever space you're in, and by the time you realize something's wrong, your brain is already too oxygen-starved to save you. When you run a car engine in an enclosed space like a garage, that engine is pumping out carbon monoxide with every single breath it takes. And here's the absolute nightmare part. Carbon monoxide doesn't just make you sick like other poisons. It literally hijacks your blood, turning your own circulatory system against you. Your red blood cells have one job: carry oxygen from your lungs to every part of your body. Your brain, your heart, your organs, they all depend on that oxygen delivery system working perfectly. But carbon monoxide is a master manipulator, a molecular con artist that tricks your blood into choosing death over life. Carbon monoxide binds to your red blood cells 200 times stronger than oxygen does. Think about that number, 200 times. So instead of life-giving oxygen flowing through your system, you're getting poisoned with every heartbeat, and your body can't tell the difference until it's way too late. Your brain starts shutting down first because it needs the most oxygen to function. You get confused, dizzy, weak. You might think you're just tired, exactly what someone would feel after a birthday celebration, after a long day, after dealing with the normal stresses of life. Then comes the nausea, the chest pain, the overwhelming need to just sleep. And that's the trap. That's how carbon monoxide kills so efficiently. Your body is literally screaming for help, sending every distress signal it can, but your oxygen-starved brain interprets all of those signals as exhaustion. So you close your eyes, thinking you just need a quick rest, never realizing that every breath is bringing you closer to death. The symptoms read like a checklist of things people ignore every day: headache, dizziness, weakness, upset stomach, vomiting, chest pain, confusion. How many times have you felt some of those symptoms and just pushed through? How many times have you thought, I just need to sleep this off? The CDC reports that carbon monoxide kills over 400 Americans every year. But here's what's really messed up. It sends over 100,000 people to emergency rooms and hospitalizes 14,000 more annually. That means for every person who dies, there are hundreds who barely escape with their lives, who got lucky enough to be found in time or smart enough to recognize the danger. Lyric and Deuce weren't unlucky. They weren't targeted by some cosmic force of evil. They became statistics in a completely preventable tragedy that happens because most people have no idea how fast this killer works or how common the scenarios are that create deadly conditions. In a closed garage with a running car, carbon monoxide levels can become lethal in just minutes, not hours, minutes. The exhaust from that car engine builds up faster than you can imagine, and once you're unconscious, there's no waking up to save yourself. There's no moment of clarity where you realize what's happening and get to safety. The scariest part? This exact scenario plays out in homes across America every single day. People warming up cars in attached garages during winter. People using generators during power outages without proper ventilation. People running grills indoors during bad weather. People using gas ovens to heat their homes when the furnace breaks. All it takes is one mistake, one moment of not thinking about the consequences, and families are destroyed forever. Carbon monoxide doesn't care about your plans, your dreams, your responsibilities. It doesn't care that you have a business to run, followers who depend on you, a child who needs you. It just does what it does, silently, efficiently, permanently. And the most heartbreaking part of Lyric and Deuce's story? If they had just cracked a window, if the garage door had been open, if they had been anywhere else, they would still be alive today. The margin between life and death was that thin. The news hit Seagoville like a freight train, carrying nothing but grief and disbelief. This wasn't just another tragedy you scroll past on social media, another headline that makes you shake your head and move on with your day. This was their neighbor, their friend, their community member. This was the woman who waved when she saw you at the grocery store, the little boy who played with everyone's kids. Seagoville itself is a city that knows struggle. With crime rates significantly higher than the national average, residents are used to being cautious, used to looking out for each other. But this wasn't crime. This wasn't violence. This was something far more insidious and terrifying, an accident that could have happened to any of them. Deuce's school, Seagoville North Elementary, immediately went into crisis mode. They sent letters home to every parent, brought in counselors, and tried to help first graders understand why their classmate wasn't coming back to school ever again. How do you explain to a 6-year-old that their friend is never going to play with them at recess again? How do you help children process a loss that adults can barely comprehend? But the real explosion of grief happened online, where Lyric's digital community learned about the tragedy in real time. Her 66,000 Instagram followers and hundreds of thousands across other platforms suddenly found themselves mourning someone they felt they knew personally, someone who had been part of their daily routine, someone whose content had made them smile or inspired them, or just made them feel less alone. Her comment sections became digital memorials, filled with crying emojis and memories from people who had never met her in person but felt connected to her story. People shared screenshots of conversations they'd had with her, posts that had meant something to them, moments when her content had brightened their day. The grief was real, even if the relationship had been digital. The hashtag #DeuceandLyric5eva started trending, showing just how far their impact reached beyond their physical community. People from all over the country, people who had never been to Texas, people who had only known them through a screen, were sharing memories and expressing genuine sorrow. However, social media being what it is, not everyone responded with sympathy and support. Some users started speculating about what really happened that night, dissecting every detail they could find. Was Lyric drinking? Was she being irresponsible? Had she put her son in danger? The judgment came fast and harsh, because apparently even in death, people can't resist blaming the victim. The speculation got ugly quickly. People who had never met Lyric, who knew nothing about her character or her choices, felt qualified to judge her final moments. They picked apart her social media posts looking for evidence of irresponsibility, as if finding fault with her would somehow make sense of a senseless tragedy. Close friend Stanisha Richardson Pinky posted an emotional tribute that captured the frustration many felt, watching people who never knew Lyric personally tear apart her character while her family was still trying to figure out how to plan funerals for two people who should still be alive. The investigation continued as Dallas County detectives worked methodically to confirm the exact cause of death. Autopsies were ordered, forensic analysis began, and the community waited for official answers to questions that were tearing them apart. The waiting was almost as hard as the loss itself, needing to know why, needing to understand how something so preventable could destroy so much. Meanwhile, Eternal Rest Funeral Home prepared for services that would draw hundreds of mourners. A wake scheduled for February 23rd, funeral service on February 24th, and burial at Lincoln Memorial Cemetery that same afternoon. 2 services for 2 lives that had been intertwined in life and would be mourned together in death. The community response revealed something beautiful about human nature, the way people come together in crisis, the way strangers become family when tragedy strikes. But it also revealed something ugly, the way some people need to assign blame, need to find fault, need to believe that bad things only happen to people who somehow deserve them. The CDC has a checklist that could have saved Lyric and Deuce's lives, and it might save yours. But here's the thing, most people don't know this information exists, and the people who do know often don't take it seriously until it's too late. First and most important, carbon monoxide detectors. Not smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors. They're different devices that detect different dangers, and you need both. These detectors need to be near every sleeping area in your house, and you need to check the batteries every time you change your clocks for daylight saving time. Set a phone reminder. Write it on your calendar. Make it as automatic as brushing your teeth. But here's what most people don't know. What could save your life tonight? Those little black marks around your gas appliances? That heavy condensation on windows near your heater? Yellow flames coming from gas equipment when they should be blue? Those aren't just cosmetic issues you can ignore. Never, and I mean never, run a car in an attached garage, even with the door open. The carbon monoxide can seep into your house through cracks and gaps you can't even see. Don't use your gas oven to heat your house when the furnace breaks. That's not what it's designed for, and it can kill you. Don't bring generators, grills, or camp stoves indoors no matter how cold it gets outside, no matter how convenient it seems. And here's a warning sign that could save your life. If you start feeling flu-like symptoms that get better when you leave your house, that's not a coincidence. That's carbon monoxide poisoning. Get out immediately, get fresh air, and call for help. Don't tough it out. Don't assume it's just a bug going around. Trust your instincts and get to safety. Before you click away from this video, before you move on to the next piece of content, I want you to do something. Check your house right now. Do you have carbon monoxide detectors? When did you last change the batteries? When was your heating system serviced? These aren't just suggestions from some YouTube channel. They're the difference between waking up tomorrow and becoming another statistic. Drop a comment and tell me, are you going to check your detectors after watching this? Are you going to have that conversation with your family about carbon monoxide safety? Because Lyric and Deuce can't speak for themselves anymore, but their story can still save lives if we let it. If this video made you think twice about home safety, if it made you realize that you're not as protected as you thought you were, smash that like button and share it with someone you care about. Subscribe to True Crime Malice for more stories that matter. Stories that don't just entertain but educate. And hit that notification bell because you never know when we'll drop a case that could literally save your life. Stay safe out there, True Crime family. Check your detectors, service your appliances, and remember, the most dangerous killers are often the ones you never see coming. Lyric and Deuce deserved better. Make sure you and your family get better.